This year I thought I'd fly a few of the stages of the Tour de France in the flight sim. The tour kicks off this year in the north of France. The first few stages are based out of Lille. First four actually, one around Lille, and I'm going to fly the second stage, which heads from Louvain-Planck up to Boulogne-sur-Mer. I make no apologies for the pronunciation. We take off out of Lille, head down to the start in Louvain, the village. Just outside of the village, the tour heads to the first climb of the day at Wembancourt. The climbs aren't very significant on this stage, only a few handful of points for the points jersey. There's a sprint early on. Further on, as we get towards the back end of the stage, another climb, once more, only a couple of points for the climber's jersey. Then we get into the finish town near the coast, and there's one climb at the top of the hill before we descend into town, and then cross the bridge and the sprint finish. From there we'll be flying back to the start of the third stage. So this is stage 2. We're going to be flying a local gendarmes chopper today on security detail, keeping an eye on the race from above. Lille is a fairly busy regional and commercial airport with mostly French destinations. Now, this is a great little freeware airport by Jean-Baptiste Gaval and works well on P3D. Has some nicely modelled buildings and some other details. I've added a custom ground photoreal layer built with Auto 4XP and set all the original airport ground polys to transparent so the photoreal shows through instead. We're going to head south to Louvain-Planck for the start of the stage, where it's about to kick off. The weather on this day was actually pretty wet and miserable at first. I had rain delays, but I've set it to clear for your viewing pleasure. I may review that in later vids if I do a few more, but for now we've got clear vids for the rest of the And the race is underway. Conditions were still pretty miserable after the delayed start. Just leaving Louvain-Planck, we make a pretty quick right turn, heading on a general northwest track towards the coast. Pretty quickly get out into the countryside after leaving the town. It's not a super big town, much smaller than Lille. Passing over one of the motorways, the D939 I think it is, or something. The peloton quite often will pass under or over a motorway and use a minor road rather than follow along the major roads and motorways, so they don't have to shut them. Here we're coming up to Arras, I think it is, or Array, and here also we kind of skirt around the outside of the town rather than going through the city centre. Bit of a bypass, flick right, flick left, and then once again back into the sticks. Soon out over the lovely rolling hills and farmland typical of this region, and we come up to pass little villages like Camblin Abbey, and then duck and dive through some of the narrow B roads, making our way out towards Saint-Michel-sur-Tenois. Another couple of motorways that we go over, and eventually come up towards Wembancourt, or Wembancourt, where the riders will climb the first of the 4 categorised climbs for the stage. Just a short climb up out of the valley, up onto Côte de Cavron Saint-Martin. This is it here, Wembancourt, and in this case one of the breakaway riders, Leknison I think it was, picked up really the only point that was on offer here, and up and on to the next waypoint. The roads are beginning to dry out now and the pace is picking up. The peloton's still hoping to catch the breakaway. Lots of lovely wee valleys to wind through. We turned right here at Hauts-de-France and there's a short flat section past Montreal-sur-Mer where we just get about catching sight now of the English Channel from the chopper view. And then just before the seaside town of Tourcoing, which we are now, we break north for the only categorised sprint of the day at Valenciennes-Denain. The breakaway made it to the sprint just before the peloton, so they swallowed up the sprint jersey points that were available. Here's the village here. But then they soon get caught by the peloton after the sprint as the enthusiastic chasing peloton behind catch them. Things are getting definitely hillier towards the coast, and here's another one of the climbs as we get towards the end of the stage. So nearing the end now as the peloton is grouped up and comes into the finish town for the stage. A couple of quick climbs towards the end, one up on the hill on the left as we come into town, which was taken by Tadej Pogačar, the leader and overall favourite for this year from UAE team. After that climb they descend back down to the river, cross the bridge for the sprint finish. Centre of town. And the actual sprint finish itself was taken by the mighty cyclocross champ Mathieu van der Poel. So it's all over now bar the winner's presentation, so time for us to transition back to Airport de Valenciennes, which is kind of back towards where we started, not far from Lille. And Valenciennes is the start, or the nearest airport to the start, for stage 3 tomorrow. I really rate the Orbx Global products, the Autogen and Land Class add-ons like this Open EU pack are great. It's close enough to the real thing, there's no real need for photo reel, and from this height I think it just looks fabulous. Been watching tour coverage since my 20s, so you know, 25, 30 years of aerial footage, and I think this looks pretty close to the real thing. Can't really complain. And here we are on approach back into Valenciennes to shut down for the day. It's the end of stage 2. I'm going to probably cover one stage in 4 or 5, so another 4 or 5 vids maybe. And this is another lovely little freeware add-on. I've done the photo reel for this, so similar trick to Lille, but yeah, nice airport modelling from a freeware project. I'll put links to the downloads if I can locate them in the video notes, but that is about it, so hope you enjoyed.